snow shovel shooting.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you know what?
Go ahead.
Okay, you know what? This is bullshit.
You ain't going to scummy motherfucker.
Okay, so I'm not sure what happened here. I hit the wrong button, so I'm going to go back to hear what they said.
You ain't going to scummy motherfucker. I'll knock your goddamn head off.
Okay, so these guys were over here. This guy and this guy were over here. They're neighbors. I think these people live over here. This guy lives over here. Evidently in snow areas, it's kind of common to have fights. You clean out and dig out your parking spot, and then some rude neighbor comes in and parks in your spot. I'm not saying that's what happened, but evidently there's big issues when there's snow and you go out there and put the effort to clean out your car, and then someone else parks in it. So I don't know what happened. There's obviously ongoing issues. This guy walks away mad, and these two are yelling and screaming. And they're saying, I'll kick your butt, and you're a pussy, and blah, blah, blah.
You go fuck yourself, you fucking queer. Come in, scummy motherfucker. Step out here. I'll knock your ass out.
Okay, challenging a fight. Hey, motherfucker, I'll knock your ass out. Again, he's kind of fronting in front of his wife. If the woman hadn't been there, he may not be doing this. But for ego and pride and to show it, he's kind of pushing the issue. They die over this snow shovel thing because they confront and antagonize somebody, and you never know when the person that you're arguing or fighting with has been on his last nerve and he's going to snap. And this guy here snaps. I think he was prior Navy, is what they said in the write-up.
You live in hell living here, dickhead. What? Yeah,
I'll make your life a living hell. Again, threatening, yelling, fuck you. These guys are both, they're both just kind of arguing, and people argue and they get upset, and you're not going to be able to outlaw this or stop this, and, the liberals will come around and say, well, we need more sensible argument controls, and you shouldn't be able to argue unless you get a permit, and they'll come up with all these stupid things. But look, human behavior, you get people in close quarters, people have bad days, you get two people that have bad days together and they meet, they're going to confront, and you know what, if it's a bad enough day, some person may snap. This guy could have easily came out here with a knife and stabbed him. He could have gotten his car and ran him over. He could have came out with gasoline and threw gasoline on and lit him on fire. But in the public media of anti-gun, this will all be the gun's fault.
Stop it!
He's got a hunting license. He's a fucking dog. You're a pussy. Fuck you. Pussy.
So this guy may be thinking, look, the worst thing that can happen is he'll come out here and we'll fight. And either I'll beat his ass or he'll beat my ass. And maybe that's what he thinks the worst thing that can happen. Unfortunately, because he doesn't think ahead, him and his wife are both dead.
Go ahead!
So he comes out with a gun, and this guy's going to stand here. Look, when people pull a gun, I know it's hard to back away and to say, I'm not scared of that gun, but dude, if somebody's going to go grab a gun and you're arguing with them, that shit's kind of gone downhill fast. He's standing here, go ahead, what are you going to do? And she looks like she's reaching for a gun, and that's why I'm not sure if she pulls one out and may fire a round.
Go ahead!
So he literally takes a stance and starts shooting, which is amazing to me. And they're both standing there. So I think she pulls out either her gun or her phone, and she's going to record this guy shooting at him. Where is the logic in this? This is such a multitude of errors that these people did not have to die. First of all, when he walked away, they could have walked away, and they didn't. Then, after he came back out and he saw the gun, they could have went away and said, dude, we don't need to go here. We're going to walk away. We're leaving. And they could have de-escalated or at least tried. Maybe this guy had already said he would have shot him back. Maybe this guy wouldn't have shot if she didn't pull out a gun or a phone that looked like a gun. I don't know. So she's holding up something that may be a gun. He's standing there looking at a dude shooting at him. This just freaking amazing. The mindset of these two. Look, it's unfortunate they're dead, but I don't know how they made it this far. A guy is shooting at you and you're standing here while he's shooting at you, making yourself a still target. They're not running, they're not taking cover, and they're still arguing and facing the dude. This just amazes me. Finally, this guy gets shot. He gets hit. This guy's shooting a lot of times and not hitting these people. Maybe he hit jackets before and it fluffed the jacket up. You know, aim spall, miss spall. I mean, he's got a pretty solid stance and he's really laying down some rounds. So now he hits her. She goes down and he runs off. Now he wants to call the cops. Now, this again tells me the mindset of these people. You want somebody to call the cops when a guy is shooting at you. How long do you think it's going to take the cops to get there in snow for somebody to call 911, for 911 to answer, for them to ask all their stupid questions, to get the address wrong, then they send it to dispatch, then they may dispatch 1 or 2 officers who are eating donuts, so the officers has to get in their car and slowly drive over here so they don't wreck because of snow. And you're like, call 911, that'll protect me, that'll save me. You're dead, dude. 911 is not going to help you. So he comes right up there, and she does push the hand away a little bit, which is good on her part. She pushes it down, and that one round may have went to ground. Again, I don't know if the sound is exactly. It doesn't look like that round hit her. She didn't react to a second hit. Okay, at that point, I'm pretty sure he either shot her in the face or in the head. So he's on a mission, and this guy's on the ground, and he can't defend his wife now. She had a gun. He ran and left her. She stood out there. Now this guy's going to kill her, and now he's going to come over and kill this guy.
Call the cops!
Call the cops. He shot me. Really? Really? That is your plan to survive? Call the cops. That's your plan. Man, just a multitude of errors. Okay, so now they're both still moving, so they're both at least not dead yet.
Oh my God!
So these two people are in shock. They can't believe this happened. I mean, they stood there and antagonized, and they saw him walk out with a gun and told him to go ahead and shoot. I mean, I just... The mindset of these two people for their lack of tactical survival just amazes me.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
So neighbors come out. What happened? When you hear shots fired and you see people lying on the ground, you come out. They're not offering first aid. They're not trying to stop the bleeding. They're kind of in shock too. But they need to be aware of their surrounding, because when this guy walks out with a long gun, you don't want to be in the area.
What happened? Go get my phone. What happened? No. Are you okay?
So at this point, I think this guy sees him with the gun, and he's like, I'm out of here. Good move on his part. Rick, you should have stayed and helped, and you should have tried to do it. No. You don't know what caused this or what's going on, and you don't want to be collateral damage. You need to create some distance. There's already been a shooting, and a guy's coming out with a gun now. This guy has the right idea in my book.
You should have kept your fucking...
He puts 2 rounds in her, and again, he's using a long gun. I don't know if it was an AR. I don't know if it was a 9mm and a rifle. I mean, rifle rounds come in long rounds. A lot of people are saying this is fake, and it's not true, and it's a false flag. To me, this seems pretty legit. So he said, pussy, huh? So that term that you're a pussy and come on here, I'll beat your ass, just triggered this dude. Now, this guy, people say like, man, what kind of crazy dude would kill these people? Well, a crazy dude. You can't make rational explanations for irrational behavior. So this guy goes inside and shoots himself and kills himself. So no trial. These 2 are dead. He's dead. 3 lives are over snow because nobody knew when to shut up or say, you know what, this really isn't worth it.
What happens when people or human beings are removed from nature? Because we know a little bit about that, actually. And if you go to the World Economic Forum's website and you read about the Great Reset, you will see that what they want to do is to remove people from rural areas and into urban centers. They want to have people living in small boxes, essentially, in cities. It's not going to be, first of all, I don't think they will be successful, but most importantly here, this is not going to be healthy for people, you know. And we know a few things about what happens when you remove people from nature. We know a little bit about the mental health problems that seem to be much more widespread in cities. Depression, suicide, crime. There's a lot of bad things going on in cities, and it seems to be a mental health thing. Now, and also, and this, I don't know for sure this one, but I think people in cities tend to be more self-centered. That's just my impression. But you know, I know lots of people who live in cities who are not self-centered, and I know people out in the rural areas that are very self-centered. So there are exceptions to this, of course, but it's just something I seem to. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I just wanted to mention it, and also, you know, when you move people out of nature, out of rural areas and into cities, they lose themselves, you know. They lose themselves. They lose also that connection with nature. And it's hard to explain how important that is. But if you're walking on, you know, concrete and asphalt all day long, and you move from one box to another, and you spend your whole day looking at a screen, we were not meant to do that. That's not. It's very unnatural, and I think that the mental health problems that we see, you know, they are more widespread in cities. It has to do with the unnatural surrounding. I need to say that I do understand that lots of people, they have to live in a city. I do understand that, and it's not a criticism from me to people who live in cities. I am trying now to direct my criticism towards, you know, like the World Economic Forum, because it seems like they want this. They want more of this. So when I read how they are laying out the Great Reset, how it's going to look, you know, what I'm seeing there is, to me, it's hell, you know. It really is. And this is, you know, some people, they say, well, it's a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a real thing. Some other people, they say, well, are you being scared now? It's just a website. The World Economic Forum, they wield a lot of power, you know, and influence here in the world. So we should keep an eye on what they're doing. But anyway, I think it's a terrible idea to plan towards concentrating people into urban areas. It's a terrible idea, and I think we should rather make it easier for people to live out in rural areas. So, yeah. But what do I know? I'm just out there getting my tent pegs and up there in Norway. So what do I know?
The militia to be an effective counterweight to the tyranny, the undefined, nameless tyranny, it has to be a credible, I don't want to use the word threat, but it has to be a credible force, right? A credible infantry force. To be a credible infantry force, it's got to have things that are simple and inexpensive, or simple and affordable, and reliable and easy. And one of the basic foundations of every infantry force that I can think of is fire and maneuver. If you talk about in the Marine Corps, we had a saying. It was something we had to memorize, that the purpose of a Marine Corps rifle squad was to locate, close with, and close the enemy by fire and maneuver, or repel the enemy's assault by fire in close combat. That fire and maneuver is the basis of an effective infantry force, or even a credible infantry force. I mean, the militia is never going to be SEAL Team 6, but we gotta come up with that fire and maneuver has to be the bread and butter of the militia. And the basis of fire and maneuver is a suppressive fire, volume of fire. I'm gonna use the term volume of fire instead of suppressive fire, just to make the normies a little less nervous. I don't know if you can work. The normies are nervous no matter what. But we're gonna call it volume of fire. So if you're not familiar with these concepts, you know, a base of fire is in the military a machine gun that sets up a suppressive fire, and then the other elements maneuver around it, and when they get where they're going, then the machine gun comes up. In the rifles, in the fire team, it's a SAW, M249 SAW, squad automatic weapon. There's in the Marine Corps, there's 4 men. One's got a SAW, one's got a grenade launcher on his rifle, and the other 2 have rifles and 1 grenade gunner. And that SAW is sort of the basis of the fire team. Well, us in the militia here, because of unjust statutes and unconstitutional, I won't call them laws, but unconstitutional things that came from the legislature, we're not allowed to have machine guns, even though all of our founding fathers expected us to have access to infantry-style weapons, so we could be competitive with the infantry force. All of them thought that. Because of the unjust statutes, we don't. So we have to come up with an alternative to that for our volume of fire, for our fire base of fire. I don't remember all these terms. And I've been thinking about it a lot, and I've come up with an idea. Now, the first thing this thing has to do is it has to not run afoul of the statutes. Unfortunately, if someone did run afoul of the statutes, it wouldn't. I wouldn't consider them a bad man, but, frankly, running afoul of the statutes right now is it's too expensive, it's too costly, it's too much risk involved. So we've got to have something that doesn't run afoul of the statutes, that can lay down a high volume of fire that is affordable and reliable.
I think this bad weather rolling in out of here is what's giving me a big bunch of problems. The size problem. The sinuses. Hello, all I know is this 40 goes.